Good evening, folks, and welcome to yet another episode and one of the final episodes of the ARCA Racing Podcast for 2023. I am your host, Colby Evans, aka Start and Park Car from Twitter, and I'm coming to you guys from not my usual office today. My father is using the office, of course, for building plans because my dad is a framer for his own company. This is my bedroom. So we are coming live from my bedroom. As you can tell, my unmade bed is still unmade. And yes, I collected way too many die-cast cars in my lifetimes. A little bit of a different setup. We've done the podcast from my room a couple of times this year, but it's all right. Got to work with what you got. So hope you guys enjoy my room. If you guys do see some flash bulbs on my TV still playing in the background, I just got it on mute. So if you guys do see my face changing color, it's just my TV. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I know, like people are saying in the chat, there is truck practice from Phoenix happening right now, but it's not televised. So, pretty much we're just going to be talking about the show. So, welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to be previewing the championship race. This is the final ARCA race of the year, from the East Series to the main division to the West Series. This is the last race of the year. I cannot believe that we are already at the final ARCA race of 2023. Overall, it's been a solid year. The main series struggled a bit with competitive car counts. The East Series really did kind of struggle, but we had some good moments there. Like I've said before on this podcast, in my personal opinion, the West Series has been the superior series in terms of ARCA. It has been very superior. The racing's been great. The field has been extremely competitive. We had a great championship battle going until Landon Lewis unfortunately departed his ride. And, well, with the bad luck that Trevor Huddleston has been having, unfortunately, the title is a long shot. But still, there is a chance. And we're going to go over all that today. I'm going to go through my little intro I go through at the beginning of every podcast, and we will jump right into the ARCA West action. So, you guys know the drill. Follow me on social media. Start and Park Car on Twitter for all of your ARCA tweets, lower budget race team tweets, Start and Park tweets, and all the other fun crap you guys know I tweet. Like and subscribe to this channel. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We're approaching 1,500 subs. I'd like to do a next giveaway when we get to 1,500. And the goal for this podcast is at least 10 likes. So hopefully we can get at least 10 likes for this podcast. And, of course, check out theracingexperts.com for all NASCAR media-related content. All right, so let's get started, shall we? The Desert Diamond Casino West Valley 100. A very long name, a very fun racing name. Just like the NASCAR Series, Cup Series does, the ARCA Series, West Series at least, it does come here 2 times a year. The main division and West Division combo race in the spring, and then the West Division comes back here for its championship race, which they've been doing since, I think, 2021. I think they've only been doing this a couple of years. No, they came here in 2020. That's right. So ever since 2020, they've been doing this. Phoenix is a fun track. I've expressed it's not my favorite track. It's not my favorite short track on the circuit. I definitely don't think it should be hosting the Finale Cup race. We talked about that on Tuesday's backmarker battles. It works for ARCA. I'm not sure where the ARCA West Series would end their season. Personally, I know that, in my opinion, maybe they should end it at a short track, but I'm not really sure where the ARCA West Series would end their season. They've run Phoenix, though, for years, going back many decades. So this is nothing new seeing the West Series here. Very, very solid entry list. We'll start off with the entry list. We had 30 cars, but we did have 1 car withdraw. We will talk about that in just a second because he still is listed on the entry list. We'll start off as follows. Jake Finch. Yes, Jake Finch. Kind of fitting to see the one team back as James Finch. If you guys do not know, James Finch did get acquitted from his trial. So he's back in business, as they say. So good for him. That means the one team is back conveniently right after that happens. Sebastian Arias, he'll be in the number 2 for Siegel. Max Siegel's team, Rev Racing. Of course, the number 3 of Todd Souza, the 4 of Eric Nascimento, LeVar Scott in the 6. So we got 2 Rev Racing entries here. Of course, Takuma Koga. Robbie Keneally was entered in the 0-1. He will actually be running the 11. And then, of course, we got Ryan Roulette in the 12. That is the Hillenberg entry. We got Tyler Reif, Sean Hingorani, Tanner Reif, Caden Honeycutt in the 17. William Sawalich from the main division. This is his last race. I mean, this was one of his races of the year. Jesse Love, notable absence. Jesse Love. I thought Jesse Love would be in the 20 car for Venturini for this race, but Jesse Love is not in the 20 car for this race. Dean Thompson from the Truck Series is actually in this car. So, that's kind of surprising. And we'll get to Dean Thompson in a second because I don't know. I got a little funny theory that I might talk about with you guys. I want to get your guys' opinion. Ethan Nascimento in the 21, Bradley Erickson in the 23, Tony Breidinger in the 25. Great to see Bobby Hillis back even after we thought his season was over after the Vegas crash. He's got 3 cars, so he's got more than one, but still hate to see the damage. Jack Wood in the Pinnacle Racing Group. Great to see Pinnacle back for the last race of the year. RJ Smotherman in the 38. He was the one that we wanted to discuss. Due to an expired fuel cell, the team was forced to withdraw because, I mean, if they didn't have a backup fuel cell, obviously they can't race with that. ARCA and NASCAR are very heavy on that. We have seen, I think we saw G2G and Young's. That's right. They got penalized for expired window nets. Earlier this year, I believe that was at Kansas. They got penalized for that, for running expired window nets. So they're very prevalent on that. They do not like you running expired stuff. You know, Brad and Wayne, they try their best, man. You think they're running old stuff? Nope. Everyone follows and complying with the rules. But that does suck for RJ Smotherman because they skipped this race. They skipped Madera to run Phoenix. And they show up and the fuel cell is expired. So that sucks. That really does suck for RJ Smotherman. But, I'm sure they'll get a new one in and RJ will be back next year. I'm sure they would love to run full time. RJ is a cool guy. He does a lot of the stuff by himself. But that does suck to lose a decent mid-pack car. So that will take us from 30 to 29. It's kind of a fun entry. John Borneman III. Yes, Johnny Borneman. Remember him? He's been around for a long, long time in the West Series for many, many years. He even got that top 5 finish at Talladega in 2010. Remember him? He got a top 5 finish in the 2010 Aaron's 312 at Talladega. That's how long he's been around. Justin Johnson in the 46. So great to see the Loudon team with 2 cars here with Tilly's as the sponsor. So that interesting sponsor for them. Trevor Huddleston in the 50. Chris Wright is back with Venturini Motorsports. Kyle Keller, of course. Nick Jonides. No 77 car. They were going to run, but a funded driver was not available. So they withdrew. The 88 of Joey East. Landon Lewis. This is another fun entry. Landon Lewis is back with the 97 car. So this is Landon Lewis's first West Series start since, I think, Shasta, I believe. This is his first West Series start since Shasta. We got Mamba Smith in the 02 for Youngs. And we got good old David Smith in the 05. So a pretty solid entry list here. A lot of heavy hitters. In the field. As for the championship, we did kind of discuss that coming in. Sean Hingorani right now does have the championship lead by quite a decent margin. The point standings right now, a 30-point lead for Sean Hingorani over Trevor Huddleston, over Tyler Reif. Sean Hingorani also has 3 teammates in the field, but I do question, does he really have 3 teammates? We do know what happened back at Mid-Ohio with Dean Thompson. We know Dean never forgot that. And we know Dean Thompson's a truck driver, so he doesn't really get the chance to race ARCA all that often. And I don't think I think the last time he raced with Sean Hingorani was Milwaukee, but I don't know, guys. Do you guys throw that conspiracy theory cap on? Does Dean Thompson cost Sean Hingorani the championship? I know that's a little out there, guys. I know, but keep in mind, Sean Hingorani is not returning to Venturini next year. He's not even returning to Toyota. Sean Hingorani's in the truck race this weekend. He's actually on probably track right now, running in the truck practice. He's not returning to Toyota next year. Dean Thompson is. Is it poetic to think that Dean Thompson could cost his own teammate the championship? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it does sound a little weird, but at the same time, with how stupid Sean Hingorani was at Mid-Ohio, it wouldn't shock me. It really would not shock me if Dean Thompson just says, like, screw you, man. I'm putting you in the wall. I'm costing you the championship. Because I don't think Venturini would – I mean, I'm sure Venturini doesn't want the crashed equipment, but it's like Venturini, they make so much money from their deals. It's like the car is already paid for. You know, so if they have a crash clause, they'll pay for it. So I don't know, man. And then, you know, like I said, yeah, they'll be in the 75 truck. I'll wreck the 75 truck tomorrow night. But I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing on the conspiracy cap on, you know. I'm just throwing on my conspiracy cap. You know, I love to throw on that conspiracy cap sometimes. But I thought I would bring that up, man. Would it be out of the realm of possibility that Dean Thompson junks Sean Hingorani? It would not shock me. And the other thing is like, well, what if, like, and like what people are saying is, what about the truck race? Well, first off, Sean Hingorani would have to catch Dean Thompson in the truck race. I don't think that would happen. I think Sean's probably going to struggle in that truck race, to be honest with you. But like what people are saying is truck series practice is going on right now. ARCA practice will actually still be tonight. That's the funny part about the West Series schedule at Phoenix. ARCA practice is going to take place at night, and the race is going to take place during the day. It's definitely not the most perfect schedule. Like literally, practice is taking place at what, 9 p.m.? 9 p.m. in Phoenix, like dark at night. Track is going to be completely different. And the race itself is happening at 11:30 their time. It makes no sense whatsoever, but you know, I mean, with the ARCA series, they kind of have those schedules, you know, they kind of have that sometimes. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But the other guys in the championship battle, as we mentioned, was Sean Hingorani. Trevor Huddleston is second. Tyler Reif is third. Both of them, man, if they had just not tangled with each other at Madera, they would have had more of a chance at this championship. For all the trouble that Sean Hingorani went through at Madera, he still managed to outrun both Huddleston and Reif because Huddleston and Reif took each other out on the last lap. And then Reif would get penalized. I mean, it's like they did it to themselves, man. So that kind of sucks. But they still got a logistical chance. The reason why I do bring that up is because Sean Hingorani, we have 29 cars entered. Sean Hingorani has to finish 25th or better. Now, there's no starting parks in the field. That is also to mention Bobby Hillis is running, but he's not starting parking. Usually in the West Series, we don't see starting parks anymore. Everybody who shows up to race is showing up to race. So it's not like we're going to have 4 cars fall out and then Sean's just going to win the championship. So they still got to race like there's no tomorrow, for sure. And it is entirely possible that it could happen. So while we're not going to give the championship to Sean Hingorani because, you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the West Series. I mean, heck, we saw Jake Drew lose the championship, in the last lap due to his own teammate in 2021. So anything can happen. It is never over until it's over, especially with these ARCA West Series championships. Yeah. In terms of entries, like I said, Venturini having 4, that's interesting right there. That shows you they really got some protective bullets in this race. I'm curious to see how these West teams bring it to the main division. We have seen – sorry, guys, I got a hair in my mouth. Sorry about that. I had a hair in my mouth. We have seen these West Series teams struggle a little bit against these main division organizations. It's like, I think it's just they don't have the equipment. Like a lot of these teams just do not have a setup that can compare to Venturini or Joe Gibbs Racing, or even a team like Pinnacle, who has a guy like Shane Huffman on their team who's been around for years and years. So, but there's still quite a few heavy hitters, I would say, for this race. In terms of actual race winners, I would say there's still a decent amount. Landon Lewis, Jack Wood, Dean Thompson, Caden Honeycutt, William Sawalich, I'll throw in Tyler Reif. And I'll throw in Jake Finch. So I would say out of the field, I would say logistically we got 7 guys with a shot at it. I am curious to see what Joe Gibbs Racing brings to this one. I am definitely curious to see what Joe Gibbs brings to this race. This is just a one-off West race. I know they don't run full-time in this division. So I'm curious. Will they bring their super package? We saw last year they did. I mean, Sammy Smith blew away the field in last year's West Series finale race. Absolute domination and was ahead by miles. So I am curious to see what setup they bring for Sawalich. The 18 has definitely been strong this year. Unshockingly. But the one thing I've definitely noticed, and I think a lot of people in the chat can agree, while yes, the 18 has been dominant, it has definitely not been as dominant as it was in the Ty Gibbs era or in the Sammy Smith era. William Sawalich has definitely shown some moments of prone, and he's not as competitive as, maybe a Ty Gibbs or a Sammy Smith would have been in that car from a couple years prior. So, yes, also William Sawalich will have the advantage. In the 18 because he does have experience over a guy like Caden Honeycutt. But I feel like Caden Honeycutt having the truck practice, that's going to be very, very crucial extra experience that William Sawalich will not have. Like I said, I was kind of curious that Jesse Love was not going to be in this race, considering he's there anyway for the truck race, running the one truck. Like I said, it still feels weird. Sorry, guys. Can't get this. Got it. Finally, I got that damn hair out of my mouth. Sorry. Just feels weird not seeing Jesse Love compete in the ARCA race. It really does feel weird, especially considering that he won, 2 straight ARCA West Series championships. So yeah. Also noted by his absence, Christian Rose is in the 22 truck this weekend, guys. Christian had expressed interest in running this ARCA race. But it looks like they did make the final call not to bring the ARCA car and the truck and just bring the truck. Christian Rose is expected to return to the main division with the ARCA car next year, likely with more part-time truck series starts. So that's that. In terms of other battles through the field, we got a decent mid-card in the field. Great to see Andy Hillenberg coming out there. I know Andy likes to run this race a couple times. The Nascimento boys, like I said, Tony's out there. Tony Breidinger, she's improved so much this season. Definitely curious if Chris Wright might be a full-time Venerini driver next year. In terms of other people in the standings, we got Todd Souza. He'll likely end up 4th. Him and Bradley Erickson are actually tied for points right now. So that's going to be another interesting battle to who stays in the top 5 for ARCA West Series points. Bradley and Todd are tied. Tanner Reif is 4 behind. Nascimento is 7th. Kyle Keller is 8th. Takuma Koga is 9th. And David Smith is 10th. We've had 10 full-time drivers this season. So a decent amount. Overall, I feel like the 2023 West Series season has been a success. Has been a success for sure. I was a little concerned. We did start off the season a little rough. with car counts. But we had a pretty decent battle. I mean, like I said, the season started out well with Tyler Reif. In my opinion, with probably one of the biggest upsets of the year, the whole ARCA season, when the Loudon Jackson team won on debut. Yes, they were running an old DGR car, but just the fact of Tyler Reif, with his inexperience, comes out with this new team and wins, beating all the big teams. Probably one of the more impressive wins we've seen in, I would say, ARCA in the last 5 or 10 years. But this season has struggled for car counts. Lots of races with just 15, 16, and 17 cars. We did have a couple of bright spots. We had 29 for Sonoma. The Las Vegas Bull Ring usually brings out a decent car count. But other than that, all the other races have been kind of under 20. We had 24 for Portland, but a couple of starting parks to add with that. So, and I just think, again, I incorporate the real life world issues that are happening right now as the cause to some of the problems of the car counts. Give respect for Jake Drew. Yes. Yeah, it's just great to see Jake Drew in a ride. I mean, let us not forget Jake Drew. Yeah, people in the chat are bringing up a good point. Let us not forget Jake Drew, man. He Poor guy did not have a ride. He managed to put together some funding, went to go drive for Hattori, 2022 champion, who absolutely murdered the field that last season. He was so dominant in the 6 car for now the late organization of Sunrise Ford. Man, do I miss Sunrise Ford. I really do miss Sunrise Ford. But yeah, he's doing a good job. Will there be any new ARCA West Series teams next season? I'm sure there will be. You know, the ARCA West Series really is one of those series that has a lot of new teams and old teams. Like you got RJ Smotherman now. He's on his own. He was a part of the Loudon Jackson team as like a mechanic. And he would drive their 46 car. He's now on his own with John Wood for his own organization. It is definitely cheaper to run the Yates motor than the Ilmore motor, which I think does allow more West Series teams to happen because more teams prefer to run the Ilmore, but on the West side, the Yates is cheaper, so we see more West teams just by default. And in general, the West Series is usually so closely competitive that even just 15 to 16 car fields, are manageable and provide good racing. What happened to the 39 Last Chance truck? Easy. Money. Didn't come to fruition. I will say, though, super chats all are available. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. So if you do want to support the podcast, I'd love to have an in-depth conversation with you guys. So if you want to send a super chat, we will definitely have more of a in-depth conversation about your question. So just throwing that out there. If you do want me to answer your question thoroughly, I would prefer if you send a super chat because I want to stay on topic for this show. Now look at that. I lost a couple of viewers saying that. I don't know. It's live TV, folks. Got to put those plugs out there. So what can we expect for a race like this? Phoenix has provided, like I said, some decent car counts. This is not as high as the last couple years, actually, though, sadly, and it is kind of a slight disappointment. The 2020 race drew only 27, but that was mainly because of COVID. 2021 drew a very strong 34. 2022 drew 30. This year was supposed to draw 30, but we only drew 29, mainly because, like I said, of the 38 withdrawal. So still a very, very strong field size nonetheless. Like, we're not complaining about field size here. No starting parks. I am curious, though, to see how the 18 and the 20 will run with each other. We know Jesse Love is not in the field, like I said, with Dean Thompson. So does William Sawalich have any competition? I don't know. We know Landon Lewis, he ran top 5 the entire race here in the spring, and that was for the 17 team, the team that he supposedly claimed that didn't have good cars. So we know the 97 team will bring a good motor and a good car here. So like I said, I would not just give the win to Sawalich. If we're going up ahead, I would not just give this win to Sawalich right out of the gate. Probably like what a lot of people are predicting. I do think Landon Lewis has a legit chance at this. And I would also put Caden Honeycutt up there too. Caden Honeycutt has been exceptional in his ARCA West Series starts this season. Other than the disaster at Las Vegas, which was not really his fault. They were just having a rough day with engine issues. But at Roseville, he started top 5, led every lap. At Madera, started top 5, led every lap. So he's got the capability, but man, can he beat that mighty Joe Gibbs 18 car? So because they put in way more effort into that car than they really have to win the race. Does Joe Gibbs Racing, but that's just what they do to win. You put more money in to win the race than you really have to. So a lot of heavy hitters, man. A lot of heavy hitters. My pick to win the race, I do want to see some picks in the chat. If you want to send a super chat winner's pick. My pick for the race, and I really do miss, I'm actually going with Landon Lewis. I'm going with Landon Lewis for the upset win. My championship pick, I am actually going with, what am I going with here? I don't think Hingorani wins the championship. I do not think Hingorani wins the championship. I know some people are just saying he will, but I am actually predicting. I'm just going to call it right now for the people who missed the show earlier, who are just tuning in. I do think he's going to get wrecked. I do think the 15 is going to get shipped tomorrow. I think the 15 loses the championship, and I think Tyler Reif, I don't think it's not just going to be Trevor Huddleston. I think Tyler Reif is going to sneak away with the championship. So That's just my guess. But it'll be interesting to see, of course, tomorrow. Not only for the Drivers' Championship, but for the Owners' Championship. Now, obviously, since Landon Lewis left the team, they've kept the car going. So, obviously, the battle between the 15 and the 17, that battle is still going on as well. And I'll pull up the standings here right now for you guys. The Owners' Championship is really competitive. And as we know in the Owners' Championship battle, that's where the money really comes from in the ARCA West Series. And due to the really poor runs lately for the 15 car, 17 has really pulled away in the Owners' Championship lead. So it's got to kind of suck for Billy Venturini. Yeah, they won the Owners' Championship in both the main division, the Owner-Driver Championship in the main division, but they lost the Owners' Championship in the East Division, and it looks like they're going to lose the West Series Owners' Championship. So that's got to hurt for Venturini, man, for sure, because that's where the money really comes from ARCA. You really don't get any money for the Drivers' Championship. You get the money for the Owners' Championship. And right now, Steve McGowan, the owner of the 17 car, has an 18-point gap over the Billy Venturini 15 car. The Naki Kluwer 88 car is third. Trevor Huddleston's 50 car is fourth. Bill McAnally's 16 car is fifth. Obviously, the top 15 get the bonus, so it's not shocking that we do have some cars running like the 46 and the 3, because with the big points payout, after this race is over, cars like the 3 of Todd Souza, the 3 of Todd Souza will jump into the top 15 points bonus, which is a little bit of extra cash. So I can see why maybe Todd Souza had the idea of running that second car, being able to get it into that top 15. Being able to get into that top 15, get that little bit of extra money. And that could also be why we see the 46 running as well. They're trying to probably get into the top 15 as well. I am curious to see how the Loden Jackson team runs this weekend. Johnny Borneman's no slouch. He's a decent driver. He's not going to go up there and win the race or anything, but I do think Johnny Borneman has a shot at I wouldn't put it past it for a top 15, top 10 finish. I do think that 41 car is capable of a run like that. So the payouts for this race, man, if there's one thing I'm still negative on ARCA on, and you know, it's one thing that we've been negative on for ARCA in a long time on this show. It is the payouts. I wish they could get up. I'm not the one in control of that. You know, I know that I all wish it, but we'll go over the payouts right now, and it's not really good, guys. It really isn't. First place is $7,000. Second place is $3,500. Last place, 29th, pays a measly $900. And I don't like that. It should be at least $1,900 for last place. I mean, $900 doesn't even pay for a set of tires. You know, what are we doing here? If we can't start the race and at least pay for a set of tires, man, we're doing something wrong here. And I've been saying that for a long time. I love this series with all my heart. I'm going to drive in this series next year. I love the ARCA Racing Series. I love everybody who works for the ARCA Series. Charlie Crawl, I love Charlie Crawl. The head PR guy, the commentator for Flow Racing. He'll commentate the race tomorrow on Flow Racing. I love Charles Crawl. But if there's one thing I disagree on with him is the situation with the payouts. Mainly because right now, like I said, guys, last place is $900. Fifth place is $1,700. So that means from finishing last to finishing fifth is a difference of $800. And that's just, I don't know, man. That's got to change. To me, that's got to change. I don't really like that. I don't like that much. I think the teams deserve better than that, especially for all the hard work and money they put into this. But, you know, it's been like that for a long time, and it has no signs of changing. So who am I to judge, I guess? With all contingency awards, the contingency stickers and awards that come with the ARCA Series, the real prize money is $19,000 for first place, $10,125 for second, and $5,750 for third. An owner's championship total bonus Let's see here. Where is it again? Owner's Championship bonus. I'm trying to find it here real quick if I can. I think it's $120,000. $120,000 for the West Series. So a nice chunk of change for sure. Nice chunk of change for these teams. That's why it is, beneficial, and that's why the ARCA system, if you guys really do understand why guys like Brad, Wayne, Alex Clubb, and Andy Hillenberg run the whole year, the way that ARCA has their money and bonuses set is more beneficial to teams that run the entire year. That's how guys like Brad and Wayne and Alex stay in business. Same with Hillenberg. A lot of that bonus money that they get at the end of the year is what helps them cover expenses. The part where they struggle, though, is doing the week-to-week operations deal. That's where they struggle the most, So if we could just get the weekly payouts a little bit better under control, I think the teams would be better off. Towards the end of the year and going into the next year. We'll go more on what the West Series might look like in 2024 on the review show next week, because I don't want to give too much away there. I will say this personally. If anyone from the West Series watches this podcast, which I hope they do, I would love to race in your series next year. I do plan on racing. Like I've said, I've made that very clear on this show. I do plan on getting approved for ARCA. I do plan on running ARCA. I've run a couple of dirt track races in my life at my local short track in Iowa, not Knoxville. I wish I'd run at Knoxville Speedway before. For the people who don't know, I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. So Knoxville Raceway is like in my backyard, 45 minutes away. But I've run at my local dirt track. I'm at the fairgrounds. I've run there before. So I've got some racing experience, but probably not enough to get approved. So I'm going to have to do some more racing to get approved there. But I would love to run a West Series race next year. The West Series field looks so much fun, and I really want to meet Takuma Koga. I love Takuma Koga. Everyone loves Takuma Koga. We don't accept any Takuma Koga slander in this podcast. That's for sure. We all love Takuma. But yeah, so practice is actually going to be tonight. Again, not televised, but check it out on arcaracing.com. The race itself will not be televised until later. It'll be broadcasted Saturday, November 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern. But for the Flow Racing subscribers, it will be on at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, 1:30 p.m. I should say Eastern Time, and 11:30 Phoenix Time. So I get off work at noon tomorrow, so I'll be able to catch the whole thing. That'll be good. But yeah, it'll be a fun race. Like I said, my pick to win the race is Landon Lewis. But the 18 team is going to be hard to beat. I do expect Sawalich to run kind of the same schedule next year that he did this year. It wouldn't shock me if we see him running some more West Series races like the road courses, the Phoenix races, just to get him some more bigger track experience since he's used to running, bull rings and half miles. Phoenix is probably one of the bigger tracks that William has honestly run on this year. Because, William, I think he ran on the Milwaukee Mile, and, here is probably one of the bigger tracks he's run on. So it'll be a fun race, guys. Will Hingorani get junked? We shall see. But he is not returning to Toyota next year. So if he does, it's not like Toyota's going to be upset about that. Whew. But yeah, guys, not much to really talk about other else than that. We got the preview show. This is just the preview show. I can't believe that the podcast this season has gone this long. I do want to say thank you for everyone who has tuned into the podcast this whole year. It's been a lot of fun ever since the first Daytona test podcast in January. I'm the only one really who does this podcast full time in terms of ARCA. So I really do thank all of you who have continued your support. The people who are new, welcome to the show. This is what we talk about. We talk about ARCA. We have fun here. This is not my usual office, though. So for new listeners or watchers of the show, this is not my normal office, although I know it's cool, isn't it? I got way too many toys. But for the longtime viewers, thank you for sticking around. And I hope to see you all again in 2024. We will be starting again with the Daytona test in January. But I just can't believe it, guys. The final ARCA Racing podcast of 2024 is next week. And I can't believe that. I cannot believe we're already done with this season. Hopefully 2024 is good in terms of car counts. We have a decent amount of drivers set up for next year. I do think the championship battle in the main division will be a lot of fun. Venturini is expected to have 2 full-time drivers. We do know, see, Sawalich, he'll be back part-time. West Series, I know Takuma Koga is going to be back next year. Who else? I'm kind of stumped at the moment of who's going to return next year. Like I said, the thing with ARCA schedules, and ARCA schedules and ARCA drivers, all that stuff is not really announced until, December, January. So we can only speculate right now. But it is what it is there. But anyway, guys, again, I thank you for everything. That's really all from me tonight. We're just previewing the show. Thank you guys for being consistent listeners. Like I said, the goal for this podcast is at least 10 to 15 likes. So if we could get that like button up, please subscribe to the channel, guys. I want to give away some stuff from my show or from my room to you guys, because the prizes that come from my podcast are from here, because I like to give back to my fan base. So please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video. If you ever want to send a super chat down the line, you're more than welcome to. And have a great rest of your weekend as well. That's all I can say. Enjoy championship weekend. Like I said, 4 championships are on the line. A lot of people are going to go home disappointed. And that's what we love about racing. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Have a great rest of your, like I said, have a great rest of your weekend. Like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on that bell for notifications. I give you guys the goodbye salute. And I'm Colby Evans. I'm starting Park Car, and I'm signing off. So long, guys.